managers are successful only if they have a good working relationship with elected officials in which there is some trust and confidence placed in the people that they appoint, and I've always felt that here. That is not on my calendar of events at this point. Not because I feel like I'm leaving on any negative terms or I'm not interested. I just really believe that when a manager leaves, they ought to be gone for a while. The organization's going to change. They're going to go in different directions. I've had my time to influence this, and I need to step away and let it be whatever it needs to be in the future. If I'm asked to give some advice, I'll do that in a private way. I'm not interested in being in a public role and trying to continue to give direction to this community and this government. I've done that for 15 years, and it's time for somebody else to do it. I tease them by calling them sometimes a 900-pound gorilla across the street, and when I say to them, everything that's good for the university is not always good for the local government, and vice versa. I try to remember everything good for us is not good for the university. So we speak very honestly, we speak candidly about issues. We understand that not everything that we want to do, we're going to get support for. But there are some shared things. For example, we cooperate on transit, and we have outside of Atlanta, between the two of us, we have the largest transit service in Georgia. And for us, if we didn't do that, neither one of us, I think, could be very efficient in doing transit. So by doing it together, that has worked out well. I would say the relationship here is probably better than in most communities, so I'm pleased to be a part of that. I was fortunate to grow up with my grandparents, and they influenced a lot of who I am. My grandfather, one of my grandfathers, was the Justice of the Peace many, many years ago. And that's when I first began to sort of get some understanding of local government. He ran a precinct, a very small little crossroads community. So that's how I sort of got interested in local government. So my grandparents have been a big influence in my life as I was growing up and even through college. I was the oldest grandchild, so they were still around when I was in college and even in my first job. So when I say I have 3 grandchildren, I want to be in their life in a deliberate way, not just show up to babysit when my daughter needs me. I'm sure I'll be doing some of that, but I want to be involved in their life in intentional and deliberate ways, because I think grandparents can really have a great influence. And unfortunately, so many times now, the grandparents and the grandchildren don't even live in the same town. So you've got to be deliberate about it. You got to find times when those important things in grandchildren's lives are happening, and you be a part of it and try to give some influence and guidance to that. So that really is another reason for retiring. My oldest one now will be 6 next in March, and it's now I can have influence, and I want to do that. If you want to be in this kind of job where you are going to be the manager, you need to learn patience very early in your career. I was fortunate to work for a person when I first got into local government who had that skill and that trait. And as I observed him, I thought, if I can learn to be patient, I think I can solve many problems, and more importantly, I can survive a long time in this work. I have been 7 years in Wayne County. I've been 14 years in Dougherty County, and now almost 15 here. The average stay of a city or county manager in this country is about 5.5 years. So that tells me patience served me well, and I've been able to choose to move or to retire when I thought it was right. I have not been asked to do that in any community, and that's not true of a lot of managers that I know.